How about now? I did not know why, but for some reason it had muted me. My apologies. Are you still with me? If you're still with me, send me a message here, okay? Send me a message here just so I can know you're still there. I'm sorry. If you can hear me, let me know. I hate I didn't see this. There we go. Okay, I'm going to start over. That only took a few minutes, so I'm going to start over. Here we go. We are looking today at Exodus chapter 36, beginning with verse 2. Forgive me, I had no idea that I wasn't being heard. My apologies. Um, it's the story of the people giving more than enough. Let's see here, verse 2 of Exodus chapter 36. When Moses called Bezalel and Aholiab, and every gifted artisan in whose heart the Lord had put wisdom, and everyone whose heart was stirred to come and do the work. So you heard yesterday where we talked about they were told to bring offerings for the building or the making of the sanctuary. Well, today they've done that, and the materials are talked about. The what they needed: the gold, the silver, the jewels, the threads, the skins, all of that needed to be brought. And so now the people have been bringing those offerings, and now the artisans, the actual construction people, are bringing the things, are taking the things that have been brought in, and they're starting to work on the sanctuary. Verse 2, then Moses called Bezalel and Aholiab and every gifted artisan in whose heart the Lord had put wisdom, everyone whose heart was stirred to come and do the work. That's what the response was. There's work to be done. We need the best. We need the best, the brightest, the most talented people to come and do this work on the sanctuary or on the tabernacle. Verse 3, then they received from Moses all the offering which the children of Israel had brought for the work of the service of making the sanctuary. They were bringing in the gold and the silver and the jewels and the threads and the skins and all of that they needed. So they continued bringing to him free will offerings every morning. Every day they brought things by. Every day they brought the materials that were needed to make this sanctuary what it needed to be. But after a while, all the craftsmen, verse 4, all the craftsmen who were doing all the work of the sanctuary came, each from the work he was doing. They stopped working on the sanctuary, and they came to Moses and they spoke to Moses, saying, the people bring much more than enough for the service of the work which the Lord commanded us to do. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that statement? The people bring much more than enough for the service of the work which the Lord commanded us to do. Wow, what a great problem to have. What a wonderful situation to find yourself in. The people bring much more than enough. So, verse 6, I've never done this in my life. Not once have I ever done this in my life. Verse 6 says, Moses gave a commandment, and they caused it to be proclaimed throughout the camp, saying, let neither man nor woman do any more work for the offering of the sanctuary. And the people were restrained from bringing, for the material they had was sufficient for all the work to be done, indeed, too much. I don't think I've ever had that problem. I don't think I've ever looked at the church and said, don't bring any more offerings. No. If you're a pastor out there and you've ever had to do that to your people, I'd love to hear about it because I'll celebrate with you. I've never been able to do that. Every time that we've needed something, I've the need has been met, but I don't know that I could ever say we were had much more than enough. We've had enough, but I don't think we've ever had much more than enough. So that's a blessing, and I hope that we can kind of catch the vision of this. God is wanting us to be sacrificial. God is wanting us to be generous. God is wanting us to give more than is needed so that there's more to give to other projects, other needs, other people in need. And that's what God is looking for. He wants his people to be generous. He wants his people to be absolutely willing to meet the need when the need arises. And that's what happened here. That's the word for today. Be generous. Uh, Teach your people to be generous. Be generous if you're a pastor. Be generous if you're a member of a church. It's great to see the work of the Lord go forward in a wonderful way when God's people are obedient and generous. Thank you for hearing this today. Hope it's blessed you. That's the word. I hope you'll spend time with God every day in the Word of God and prayer. When you do that, it starts your day off right, and it's the best thing you'll do all day long. Again, I'm sorry I was muted to start with. I'm running a little late because I had a meeting earlier that ran longer than I thought, but glad we're able to get together now. Good to see Richard Britt, Kathleen Pallas, Ken Woodard, Jack Weinkoff, Eva Fernandez. Um, Thank you all for being with us today. It is our pleasure to have you with us, whatever time of day or night you watch. It is always our blessing and our privilege to have you with us. And I pray you're blessed by what we are able to share. Please know that we're praying for you, and I look forward to seeing each of you again tomorrow.